At the age of 7, I had experienced being molested by a member of my own family. And I remember at the time, this was around the time that my dad had actually walked out on our family. And it was a really hard time for me. And as the years passed by, I just remember feeling so much different than the other kids around me. I feel like my innocence that they had, just this playfulness, this innocence that all of them had been taken from me at such a young age. So later on down the road, I found myself feeling more and more promiscuous. I had lost my virginity at the young age of 13. And some of my encounters were consensual, some of them weren't, but sometimes it just was nice to feel wanted because I had felt so abandoned and so helpless for so long. So I started going to church around the age of 11, and the only thing I remember about them talking about sex in the church is that it was a bad thing and that we shouldn't do it. That was the only thing that they said about it, and that was the end of the conversation. So that was my narrative on sex. All that I knew about sex was that it was bad. I had been doing it, but since I knew that it was bad, that's all that I knew about it, it just left me feeling bad. I felt guilty all the time, I felt ashamed, and I couldn't even go to God because I felt like He was so mad at me for what I had done. I remember my 16th birthday party being my breaking point. That night we had a lot of alcohol. I'd never been drunk before in my life, and I just remember kind of fading in and out, in and out. And all night I remember there being this older guy there, and I had been flirting with him the whole night because I felt so special that this older guy chose me. He wanted to hang out with me, so I fed into that. And I just got more and more intoxicated, and he took that as my yes when I didn't have the capacity to say no. And I remember the next morning feeling emptier than I ever had before. I remember my friends knew what had happened, but I was fine with them knowing that it was a one-night stand and not them really knowing that it wasn't consensual. After that night, I knew that something had to change, so I decided to get serious about going to church and doing the right thing, whatever that looks like. I started dating the man that I am married to today, and I remember being so excited about my wedding night. I was so excited to be with my husband. But it was that night that I realized that every single sexual encounter that I had ever experienced affected me more than I ever imagined. And I found out really quickly that religion was not going to free me from the trauma that I had experienced, and it was not going to change the narrative that I had on sex. Only a real relationship with Jesus could do that. God created sex, and He said that it was good the way that He designed it. God gave us a divine desire for sex, intimacy, and unity. Our vision for Divine Desire Ministry is restoring God's original design for sexuality and empowering individuals to shift the culture's view on sex.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Everything we do is funded by people just like you. We work off sponsorships so that we can provide free media and free media training to nonprofits in need to help save them thousands and potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year. If you'd like to join, click the link below and be a part of telling these nonprofit stories.